To clean the inlet nozzle, you first need to unscrew it from the instrument. With the nozzle off, you can see the impactor plate and can pop this out using your fingernail. To clean the nozzle, use a Q-tip to remove any noticeable particles. Next, to clean the impactor, take a Kim wipe and remove the grease and dirt from the impaction plate. You will need to reapply more grease for the next sampling event. Take out the supplied impactor grease and squeeze out a small amount onto the plate's surface. Use a Kim wipe to smooth it out and take off any excess. You only want a thin, smooth layer. When you have re-greased the impactor, pop it back into the DustTrak, being careful not to stick your finger into the grease. Once in place, you can screw the nozzle back over top of it. To re-zero the instrument, place the white zero-count filter over the inlet nozzle. The blue arrow should face toward the machine. Plug the DustTrak in and turn it on with the on-off button. After the warm-up screens pass, you'll notice that the real-time measurements in survey mode should be 0 milligrams. It may take a few minutes for the levels to go to 0. If after 60 seconds the screen does not read 0, you need to recalibrate the DustTrak. To do this, press and hold the Calibrate button. A 5-second countdown will show on the screen. When the countdown reaches 0, release the button. Now the screen should say Calibrate in the upper left-hand corner. Press the sample button next. A 60-second countdown will begin. After it completes, the screen will flash a number, generally a 1, that corresponds with the instrument's correction factor. The DustTrak's factory set correction factor is named with the 1 and comes from calibrating it with a type of dust. Note that this number is not particularly important unless you choose to change the correction factor for different size particles. This is covered in detail in the manual, so please refer to it for further instruction. With the correction factor number flashing on the screen, press Sample again. Your DustTrak will return to survey mode and will now be displaying 0.0 milligrams. About every 2 years, the internal filters need to be changed. Keep in mind, though, that if you're sampling in heavily polluted areas, these filters may get dirty faster. To check them or change them, first you need to flip the DustTrak over. On the underside are 2 circular caps with screws in the middle. These are the lids to the filter wells. They should be only finger tight. Unscrew them and remove the caps. The screws cannot be lost because they are permanently attached to the caps. Inside each of the 2 wells, you'll find a cylindrical white filter. If they are brown with particulate, they should be changed. Remove them and throw them out. Replace with new filters and place the caps back on. Finger tighten the screws. The DustTrak 8520 does not have a rechargeable internal battery. Instead, its backup battery is composed of 4 size D batteries. At the bottom front of the DustTrak, you'll find a black knob attached to a door. Unscrew this and pull the door completely out of the instrument. Inside, you will see a cradle with 4 D batteries in it and some wires connecting this power source to the DustTrak. Using your fingers, work the cradle toward the edge of the DustTrak and pull it out. You can keep the connecting cord attached if you like. If it is in the way, you can unplug it by pinching together the top half of the white connector and pulling it from the bottom piece. Take all 4 batteries out and replace with new D batteries. Slide the cradle back in the DustTrak, making sure to keep those connecting wires on your side of the cradle, where they're visible when you open the little door. Place the door back into the DustTrak and tighten the knob. If you turn the DustTrak on without it being plugged into a wall outlet, one of the warm-up screens will display what percentage of battery is left. The DustTrak drains these batteries rather quickly, however, so they are only useful as an emergency backup if a power outage occurs. Make sure to always plug the instrument into an outlet when sampling or adjusting settings. It is always wise to make sure that your instrument is set to the right date and time. You can do this by using TrackPro software or manually. Plug the DustTrak into a wall outlet and turn it on. Pay close attention to the screen. As it runs through its warm-up screens, it will display the time. While the time is briefly displayed, press and hold the sample key. This will take you to a screen that allows you to use the up and down arrow buttons to change the date and time. When done, press sample again to save the changes. With the instrument turned on and plugged in, attach it to a computer and open TRAK Pro. Under the Instrument Setup menu on the toolbar, select Parameters and then Clock. You will see 4 values. Your computer is comparing its date and time to the ones stored in the DustTrak. The first row compares the computer's date to the DustTrak's date. If the dates are different, click the button with the double arrows next to the value your computer has. The second row compares the time of your computer to that of the DustTrak. If this is incorrect, press the double arrow button next to the computer value. All the values should now look the same, and if you hit send, it will quickly transfer it to the DustTrak. The date does not generally need to be changed, but the internal clock does tend to run a little slow, so checking the time should become routine before each sampling event.